expected. Do you feel, though, you mentioned about Dubas's comments and about the excitement now back a little bit, certainly after the Steelers season closes out and now they have a coach and they're kind of just building a roster now. Do you really feel that's back, though? Because there have been some of your colleagues that have gone the other way and are starting to say that this team is playing so better than expectations. They should have more people at these games. The crowd should be better. There should be more conversation on social media. Shows like this still do better when you talk Steelers. Should that be the case, or do you think that's a bit overblown? Like, what do you think the vibe is right now? This does not feel like a city that thinks they're going to win a cup, but again, it's so wide open. There got to be some excitement that you'd imagine.
I think there is. I do think there's just an NFL oversaturation in our country. We're all obsessed with the NFL, myself included.
Sure.
It's the way it is. Whether it's the love of the game, the love of gambling.
That's why they won it. That's why they moved the draft. That's what they want. Yeah. They win.
We're all dealing with that. Listen, attendance at PPG has been a problem for a number of reasons. The cost of tickets is worse than ever. The cost of concessions is worse than ever.
That's true.
It's $50 to park everywhere around the arena, literally.
Unless you go far. I mean, I got some hacks for people, but unless you go far and are willing to walk, right?
That's right. Yeah. Like, there's nothing to do around the arena. There never has been, which has always been a problem. So you add it all up. There are lots of little reasons. Has it been disappointing? Yeah. Now I will say the crowds that have been there have been like really enthusiastic. Like the real fans are showing up.
Sure.
But I have to think, especially after the Olympics, when you know how it is when spring is getting close, you smell that it's starting to get a little warmer. Like you kind of
I'm waiting for it, but yeah.
Like you can smell the playoffs in the air when you're a hockey person, right? Like it's that time of year. And it's been 4 years since the Penguins were in the playoffs. I really think the enthusiasm in the city is going to get ramped up the closer we get. This probably, maybe, will be the last time you ever see Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin in the playoffs together. That's a big deal. Okay. And
big deal to them too. 100%.
You better believe it is to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, the passion will come from the fan base at that point. So I think there is an excitement. I agree that I'm surprised there's not more talk about it, because I think they're by far the best story in this city right now. I don't think there's a close second. I don't give a damn where Mike McCarthy's from. Like I'm sorry.
Right.
Like this.
Right.
This is supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. They've got the 6th best win percentage in the league with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin leading the way. Like, what else do you want? It's a great story.
Yeah, and in some cities, and even in Pittsburgh, of course, an NHL great story is not going to top a great NFL story. But Pittsburgh has been a city that, even though the Steelers will always reign supreme, that certainly since Sidney Crosby came aboard, that there has been an argument of, some called it Hockey Town, and that Pittsburgh really came alive. And it's easy to come alive when you have, generational talent after generational talent and Hall of Famers coming in and out, and you win 3 cups and you're always a playoff contender. It could be that the last several years where they're not, despite Crosby still being on the team and producing, maybe dissipated that excitement a little bit. And maybe the talk was overblown a decade ago, but you would imagine there would be more of that energy, even if not at the arena, because, what you're saying about ticket prices and all that is very valid, but that should not affect social media numbers, ratings on TV, conversations at the grocery store. And those things are either down, if we can go off the metrics, or just don't feel like they're as prevalent. It could come back once we get through February. It could, you could even argue, and this happens in some cities and even happens to the league, which is what they got off the 4 Nations last year. I mean, they went from the 4 Nations to being talked about on First Take. Like, that would never happen. No. They may figure that being back in the Olympics is going to pop excitement to all of these contending cities right after the Olympic break that maybe wouldn't have been there even in other years. And certainly Pittsburgh could be one of them, even though it's normally a great hockey town in the first place. So that could happen. They could benefit off that Olympic.
It is a great hockey town. I also would suggest to you that it's a very spoiled hockey town.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really, for the last 40 years, with the exception of a few years, you've gotten either Lemieux or Yager or Crosby or Malkin. I mean, man, so it's
I
a
mean,
hockey
people
town,
who remember before Lemieux are dating themselves, right?
right?
Like,
And so I think, oh, Sidney Crosby, yeah, I've seen him play a bunch. Like, there's almost
yeah.
that sense, like other hockey cities would go crazy for that.
Well, let's be fair. Look at the attendance numbers of the X generation.
Wasn't
I mean,
great.
so if the team is perennially losing and admits we're not going to be good, the fans
Mhm.
say, okay, well, we're going to save our money at home. And when
Yeah,
they have Sidney Crosby and Lemieux and Yager and Hall of Famers and Kenny
yeah,
Malkin
sure.
and they're basically the Golden State Warriors of the league, then of course they're going to pack it in and you're going to have casual fans that are obsessed. I
Right.
think the one simplified part about this is it feels like during the prime of Crosby and during the cup years and even years they would flounder in the playoffs but have great regular seasons, there was a lot more conversation among casual fans. Like you and I are going to talk about this team no matter what. You're going to cover
Right.
this team no matter what. But this year, it does not seem like the casual fans that were on the wagon years ago are back because they left a few years ago.
Mm.
That it seems like they've yet to get them
No,
back, and
I know
getting
what you
them
mean.
back will help sell out the arena.
It
And I
will.
don't
And
know
I
what
mean,
else they can do but win to get them back. I mean, they're
and the
playing well
biggest,
enough to get them back.
it's interesting. You're right. And I think those people are about to come back. Just, the conversations in Giant
Could
Eagle,
be
whatever. Like I do.
right. It could be.
But I can tell you this, since COVID, there were two big things. Well, three things. COVID, the ownership change from Mario Lemieux to Fenway,
Which was
and
negatively received.
the team's
Yeah.
regression around that time.
Right.
Those three things have contributed. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. Their season ticket base is so much smaller now than it was 6 years ago.
And there you go.
I
There you
mean,
go. Yeah.
I'm talking like a massive, like, I don't
Yeah.
know the exact percentage, but
Yeah.
like we're talking like maybe half the size of what it was. So it was very easy for them to sell out games in 2018 because they had already had 15,000 season tickets or whatever it was. It's
Yeah.
not like that now. So they've got to build that back up. And so much, I hear from so many readers, Penguins fans, and it's never complaints about Sullivan or Muse or Dubas or Rutherford or Hextall maybe, but all they ever say to me is like, "I miss Mario. Like I liked when Mario was the owner."
They like the
what?
visibility. I saw you brought this up before. That's the issue. The Fenway Sports Group has proven they can own a championship caliber pro sports franchise, even though they clearly didn't do that with the Penguins. But in Pittsburgh, they want the visibility. They don't
Yes.
want here we're going to lead, the Red Sox and don't talk to us. These other people will have the conversations and they're going to win, so you don't care. I don't even think if this team was a cup contender that the fans would love it as much as during the time when Lemieux was standing there, on the float and a part of it as well. They want the visibility, and no matter who you are, replacing Lemieux as that guy is going to be impossible.
Yeah,
But to do it and then to go dark and basically not talk for 5 years as the team isn't good is
right.
not going to win you any favors.
I always tell people like Fenway, they're not bad owners.
Right.
Like they're not, nobody who works for the Penguins like hates them on a personal level, and they have more money than God, so you don't have to worry about money, which is and that's the one thing about the Hoffman family, who is trying to. We'll see if the deal officially goes through here in the next few weeks.
No, that's different.
The one thing about them, and I actually hear wonderful things about them on a personal level. It's like really nice, good people. I don't know if they have the money to satisfy what it requires.
That's what it seemed when I looked into them as well when they were announced, and that's something that really no one's talking about because it almost seems like that's like, oh, we don't want that to really be the case. But that type of ownership group, even going around sports, if you've noticed, that type of more mom and pop, we dug ourselves out of the dirt and now we're doing this. It's going away. If you look at what happened with the Bus family with the Lakers, it's almost like the Penguins are going backwards. They're going to the Bus family away from what the Lakers now have. They realize that okay, we can't contend even with a cap in our sport with people and all their money. So we're going to give it to a guy with more money and then kind of just run things. That's not really going on here. It's their money. They're running it. So do you need some tinkering of this in years? Does somebody else need to come aboard and join in?
Does he wear number 66?
Right. Like,
throwing that out there.
Do they need a governorship who earns some money and let me just kind of make the decisions now and help you if you need more cash? Like, that could be a concern that I feel like is getting overshadowed by this team winning. No one.
Oh.
But if this team was losing, that would probably be a story you'd be writing right now. Is this the
No.
beginning of the end of the run, even before Crosby retires, because the money's not there, negative things, about the pocketbooks of the future ownership group, even though, great people. But that type of great person, mom and pop ownership, I can't even think of another example that's doing well in pro sports today. Like, that's going away.
Like, that's how the Rooney family started. And even though everyone complains that they're cheap, right? They're fabulously wealthy, but they're not wealthy compared to some NFL owners.
That's what I'm trying to say, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
if there was no salary cap in the NFL, the Steelers would be the Pirates. Like, that's the level of financial situation. They are obviously, and so are the Genie Bus. They're very, very wealthy to all of us. But if we're talking about in comparison to their peers, they are in the bottom tier.
Not Jerry Jones. I mean, it's
right. Like, and having all the money of God does not guarantee you anything, bringing up Jerry Jones again, but but it certainly makes it easier. It certainly helps out.
No, and the Penguins have that with Fenway, and they had it with Ron Burkle too.
Right.
I mean, so this is an interesting spot.
You had a situation where all the money, the best players, people would want to come aboard just to play with the best players and be willing to take less when it wasn't even necessary. And you also had a parity-driven sport because of what happened in those lockouts. You get here, and, that may be for the conversation for another day, but it's something to keep note on, especially when Crosby retires and Malkin's gone, and it is a complete new era. And then maybe if Lemieux does not return and it is just completely kind of an unknown for the fans on who is now leading their team, unless they hit the jackpot again in the draft, which based on the history of the franchise certainly could occur, that, that's could be a possibility of the future of this team. Josh Yohe here of The Athletic, Mike Asti here as we're talking the Penguins surprise season. Were you at all surprised that Crosby got so choked up when they were celebrating and honoring the 2016 Cup champion team, and even comments from him that this is a special one amongst all of his